Hey guys, let's talk about the newly posted itemization rework. This has been a subject of a lot of contention in the community for a long time. Obviously, this game released in a completely fuck state itemization wise. I think they made good steps towards fixing it with the version we have now with the two locks. But as someone who's put in about 1,000 hours, I can say that like this system has to be infinitely frustrating to people that don't have that amount of time to put in, especially as my interest in the game has sort of like waxed and waned. I find myself coming back playing, a couple dozen hours and then having a bunch of credits and a bunch of resources to craft some new weapons, seeing, oh, that guy just cleaned up with the chain, the two-handed chain sword. I should craft one of those. And then dumping every bit of resources I have, using all of my plasteel and all of my credits. Of course, I still have like 70k diamantine, and not getting what I need. And that is just super frustrating. So I think hopefully that stuff is going to be addressed. But let's just go ahead and read through it here. Hello again, Divided Rejects. Yeah, we're talking about itemization and what players can expect. They already told us in a previous post that everyone sort of rightfully memed on, that the itemization would not be coming now, but instead after the summer, whatever the hell that means. So that could be as, Christmas by Fatshark's calendar. So one of the challenges they say for tackling itemization was to propose a new experience to the players which felt authentic and natural within the actual live system. Um, okay, I would just say that they've been trying to stick to authentic and natural experiences this whole time, and it's I get that they're trying to put like sort of a macro game to the actual game, but the problem is, as far as I see, is that the core of Darktide is just so it's the game, right? It's the actual when you're in the missions, and that is so tight and feels so good. But the scaffolding, everything around that has always been just crap. And I think the same can be said for Vermintide. It feels great to play Vermintide 2, but when I had to get new friends to play that game, if you've never played Vermintide 2, there's a gear score. Basically, it's just like the power levels in Darktide, but power levels in Darktide are based on what level you are. That's what the sort of power levels of weapons drop. In Vermintide, you had to keep unboxing items and slowly creeping up your power over time. So thank God they didn't stick with that system. But still, like the whole everything to do with getting new items in this game has always really sucked. And yeah, it can just absolutely screw you, especially when you're looking for like two specific blessings. But I digress. Let's go ahead and hear them out. So our goal is to improve player agency. We're putting the focus on giving players a clear path to get the weapons and gameplay they want. Okay, that's what we want to hear. Let's see how they do this. Part of this agency will be achieved by removing the locks on blessings and perk. Oh, praise be to the Omnissiah. That is amazing. That's what we want to hear, is removing those locks, because if I put 100 games into playing with a weapon, I should be able to tweak that weapon to whatever I want. It's ridiculous that I have weapons that are so nearly perfect, but they have 5% damage missing because I can't change that one lock. But if I tried to re-roll them, I'd have to spend another 300 hours to get a weapon comparable. The rest of the player agency will achieve the introduction of two new major systems for itemization, mastery, and expertise. Yeah, they really should change those names, as they say. These systems will make playable. Okay, great. Mastery. So this is the core progression system. This is tied to the weapon type and weapon family itself. As players use a specific weapon, they'll gain more experience. This unlocks new blessings, perks, marks, and a special weapon cosmetic along the way via the reward tracks. As players progress, the potential quality and stats of the weapon also increases. The system will merge all weapon types / families, meaning players will be able to freely switch between different marks of the same weapon type. For example, once you own an infantry lasgun, you have the potential to unlock all the possible marks of this weapon and switch from one mark to another. It'd be interesting to see if that means, things like our combat axes and tactical axes included in the same thing because they're axes. Our weapons like the chain axe, which is the only type that it has. There's only one mark of that. Hopefully they just fold that in within axes. But actually, looking down here, it doesn't look like that's the case. So yeah, when viewing any weapon, it'll show the weapon's maximum potential stats. These stats will be randomly determined. It's up to the player to decide if the weapon profile is interesting enough for them to commit and increase the stats until reaching this potential, which are then applied to the weapon through the expertise system. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. Okay, so looking at this, looks like over here, our melee weapons, we've got 5 different types. This must be the veteran they're playing with. Oh yeah, it's veteran. Because they got the power sword down here. So yeah, tactical axes and combat axes are different. So you will have to level those two, which is fine, I guess. There's like 3 different types of tactical axes and maybe 4 different combat axes. I think combat axes are just generally way better. But it does suck that things like assault chain axe, if you want to flex between these two, like assault chain axe, I think there's just one type. Maybe there's 2 types now. But yeah, that just seems, I don't know. It seems a lot of trouble. I guess they are trying to extend gameplay in some way, but again, this is something that I was saying before with the Vermintide thing. If I want to have a new friend play with me, or for instance, if a friend is coming back and they're already level 30, right? They come in here and they don't have any of this mastery skill. Their weapons are just going to be crap. I hope that they don't make the time to get this all the way up super, super lugubrious. It just take a long fucking time, because I understand they want there to be some progression to the game, because progression systems like that are another hook for players outside of just the core gameplay. It's like a meta gameplay, but I also don't want to feel like, no one wants to play this game and no one wants to try new things. Like, if I normally play with the combat axe on my zealot, or the combat blade, but if I wanted to try the hammer, am I gonna have to like knock myself down to heresy difficulty just because I don't want to be dragging my team down by using a non-mastery weapon? I'm just worried about that. So it looks like 0 out of 500, the max upgradable characteristics of your weapon. And then, okay, so it looks like you get mastery from completing missions and getting kills or something like that. Okay, so not too much to comment on there. Oops. Lovely Steam comments. Those are always really, really enlightened. All right, and checking out here. Okay, so this is some idea of what we're going to do down here. So yeah, you progress the weapons. You unlock ranks and you unlock marks of weapons. And then your mastery points are I guess that must be what you sort of put in here, and that's what unlocks your blessings. Interesting. That is cool though, that like, by progressing weapon, you are guaranteed to get the blessings you need. So that's really nice. Yeah, that is really nice. So I agree with this idea that like the more you play with weapon, you are guaranteed to unlock new blessings, especially if they go by what they said before, which is they're going to be unlocking the locks on all these weapons so that you can play with any of them. All right. Expertise. While the mastery system is where a player unlocks the potential for a weapon, the expertise system is where the players apply those changes via crafting. This is when players create an actual relationship with the weapon. Okay, relationship with the weapon, interesting. Players will be able to configure the weapon, change the blessings or perks, and increase the stats. Oh, increasing stats. Okay. So we're no longer locked after making changes to change. Okay, thank God they took the locks off. So you can change any number of perks or blessings. You can swap them around. If you roll something and you realize it's not meta or it's not performing the way you wanted, no longer are we going to have to spend tens of thousands of resources, get a weapon with the perks we wanted, go into the Psychanium and be like, oh, this is dog shit, and then go back out and have to re-roll for something else for tens of thousands of resources. So that's really nice. Let's check out what they've got. So it looks like this is what we saw before, this little symbol here, the mastery symbol. So you enhance the weapon. It can only be as high as your current mastery level with a weapon, and the max was 500. So if we just add it up here, I mean, we have 5 stats. There's 5 stats in every weapon. If you max them out, you're at 500. And see right down here, they've got it highlighted. These stats, it looks about right. These stats add up to 77 out of 100 levels. They have an expertise of 500, which means they can max all these bars out. So it looks like we will. There's a lot of anticipation when this game came out that there would be hidden red items, like from Vermintide. They would have the maxed out 100 bars. Looks like we'll be getting 100 bars in this. So that'll be really great just to eventually your bars are all capped out. I'm not certain how long that's going to take. But it'll be nice to just have everything fully capped out. And it makes, like, you know, instead of like spending all of your resources to just roll, and just hope to get lucky, it looks like you're going to be using resources to, oh, and look here, you use resources to progress the, increase your mastery. So that's really cool. Okay, so I agree with that. All right. I agree with that. Okay, so what about resources? While we were planning this itemization rework, there were a lot of discussions around this topic. Creating an entirely new resource is a bit easier for balancing. Please fucking don't do that. We don't want to start a new grind for players. Thank you. We wanted to have a system which respects players' time. Please let us use our fucking diamantine. As such, we decided to keep plasteel and diamantine steel. Never seen it called that before. As the resources were changing weapons, and we worked on balancing. Yeah, how about using... Yeah, we wanted to give a new life to diamantine. Thank you. As diamantine is a resource introduced at a higher level of gameplay, I am fucking drowning in it because I only play on the highest level. It is also the required resource for achieving higher levels of expertise in a weapon. Good. So when I'm getting up into like the last 10% of progression of the weapon, I want to be only using diamantine or using diamantine to reforge stuff. So that's cool. What happens to my existing inventory? This is a really big question, and they're kind of unclear about this to spoil it. When designing itemization, we wanted to commit to ensuring fairness for all players, new and old. As such, we're implementing a migration system to convert players' current weapons and blessings to the new system. So I guess it really doesn't matter. I guess it really doesn't matter that I have like really well-rolled weapons, because when all this comes out, those quote-unquote well-rolled weapons will be irrelevant because the new best stat line is 500 instead of what is it now, like 480, right, or something like that. I can never remember. So interesting. Okay. When did yeah? Okay, so we're gonna convert players' current weapons and blessings in the new system. Here's how it works. The blessing library of a weapon family will be converted into mastery progression. That means players will start the new systems with a head start in mastery, giving them the chance to unlock previously owned blessings, as well as a chance to unlock some blessings players never had before the update. Okay. Our aim is to preserve players' hard-earned progress and make this shift as smooth as possible. What about curios? Curios will have their locks removed, but they will remain unaffected beyond the change. Okay, so perfect. So if you were hearing this, if you have any 21% health curios or 3 stamina or 17% toughness, hold on to those, because with none of the locks on there, all it's going to matter is that primary stat thing. So I have been dying. The only thing I have left to upgrade my character currently, because there's no way I'm getting a better weapon than I currently have, is the curios. I could get 3% more HP if I got 21% on that, but I've had them like a dozen times and have not been able to hit the right stats on the back end of that, and that has been really frustrating. Unfortunately, I sold all those, so I'm gonna have to find new ones before this update comes out. But fuck me, I guess. We're continuing to optimize the system in the coming weeks, and we'll look forward to reading your feedback in the process outlined. We'll collect questions below so we can release further communication on the topic as we make progress. Thank you. Okay, so this is the thing I wanted to go back and look at. Players get a head start in mastery for having blessings in their library. So that's to go with this one up here. So what I'm guessing this means, and this could be completely wrong, but you know, since you are progressing mastery here, and part of what you're unlocking is all these blessings, there is some relation between how far progression mastery and how many of these blessings you have unlocked. So let's say that you're a player who's just obsessively every time you get a different blessing, you're going to who's the tech priest? God, Hadron. People are gonna crucify me. All the Hadron simps out there. I respect you, but if you're going to Hadron all the time and scrapping your weapons, getting the blessings, and let's say for the combat axe you have every single tier of every single blessing, I would have to assume that that means your mastery is maxed out. You've proven you have full mastery of this. There's nothing left for you to unlock or discover. Alternatively, what they said in here was that if including some previously owned blessings as well as the chance to unlock some blessings players never had before the update. So what that means to me is if, like, say you have 50% of the blessings that are currently in the game, it's going to kind of like liquidate that and turn it into general like mastery rank, and then you can pick the 50% of the blessings that you want. So right now, what everyone should be doing, in addition to stockpiling resources, but anytime you see a weapon with a good blessing, go ahead and sacrifice that baby, because that's going to add to your mastery pool, and then you can spend that mastery to unlock the good blessings, the one we actually fucking want to play with when this comes out, if this holds true. So yeah, that's the rundown on the new system with mastery and expertise. They say in the coming weeks, but I also saw them say in this previous thing down here somewhere that they wouldn't be changing anything until after summer. So we'll see which one of those pans out. I would appreciate an early surprise, but with Fatshark, I'm not really gonna expect, especially with some of this art here. Like, their art team is, they're pretty crazy anal about this stuff. Like, their art is always on point. So if they let this get anywhere near production, this looks like a Flash game for 2006. All right. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you.